If I die today, I'm dying in Versace. One and only, I don't ask them, do they copy? Bad boy, huh? You could ask my mommy. Fire on me, they can see it, Ricky Bobby.
What's good? It's your boy Clutch Peso. Welcome to Clutch Peso TV. And as usual, I like to give a shout out to all the supporters and also like to give a shout out to all the haters. Thank you all for boosting the algorithm. Yeah, man, we're back. We're back. So today we have conspiracy theory videos that'll make you rethink reality. Let's get to it.
The day Ronald McDonald's mascot tragically cost 2 people their lives. Have you noticed that the traditional Ronald clown figurines have disappeared in front of McDonald's restaurants? Well, it turns out there were 2 boys. One of them needed to use the restroom and went to the one directly across the street near a gas station. The other boy sat on the little bench where Ronald McDonald was and waited. Later, the first boy came out of the restroom and joined his friend. And it was at that exact moment that the seated boy said, "Be tired." It is said that Ronald turned to him and replied, "Me too." At that instant, the seated boy had a heart attack. The other person who had gone to the restroom fell into a coma a few days later. After this event, the government obviously had to intervene and conduct appropriate investigations. The restaurant had videos that pointed directly at the location. However, all this information was deleted, presumably to protect the integrity of the restaurant. What the restaurant didn't know was that the gas station also had cameras that were roughly filming that area. In fact, on the 2nd or 3rd day, the army closed off the restaurant and removed the Ronald McDonald mascot. We don't know what happened to the 2 individuals. And the removal of the mascot has raised many questions. The day Ronald McDonald's mascot tragically cost 2.
Oh, that sounds like cat to me. I think I did hear about them removing the Ronald McDonald mascots from McDonald's, like because something with people being afraid of clowns or something. Let me see. Let's research. Let's do a little bit of research. Ronald McDonald mascot remove. The same in McDonald's website around at the time. The chain said that Ronald McDonald pulled from advertisement due to current climate around clown size. Yeah, they removed them because like people were afraid of clowns. That's crazy. Because a lot of people were dressed up as clowns, like scaring people. It's crazy. Y'all clowns relax out there, man.
Have you ever heard of the conspiracy theory about Mrs. Puff? There's a theory that Mrs. Puff may have a very dark past. In the season 2 episode of SpongeBob titled Lighthouse Louie, it was revealed that before Mrs. Puff came to Bikini Bottom, she lived in a place called New Kelp City, and that she may have been responsible for a terrible accident that happened there. Because in that episode, there was a scene where SpongeBob was going through a whole bunch of junk, and he ran across this newspaper article. The article is from the New Kelp Post and reads, "Deranged boat teacher makes getaway." And then at the bottom says distracts authorities with balloon animals. And it clearly shows a picture of Mrs. Puff. But here's when things get a little spooky. It might be a clear indication that Mrs. Puff is not who she says she is. Because if you take it back to the season 2 episode No Free Ride, there was a scene where she says, "I have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name." Then she says, "No, not again." Do you remember this part about distracting authorities with balloon animals? Rewind it back to this scene with the balloon animal. I don't know about y'all, but I think Mrs. Puff got some explaining to do.
SpongeBob SquarePants conspiracy theories. Is this what it's coming to, you guys? Okay. Got my eye on you, Mrs. Puff.
This is a conspiracy theory I 100% believe in. So, in 2020, the reason the government put us into a lockdown is so they could change the batteries in the pigeons.
Right.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Because they're all cameras.
That's
The weirdest
crazy.
part is my dad has like pigeons as well, and even I've never seen a baby pigeon.
Very good. Where do they go?
There's like a van driving around collecting them all.
Yeah, to make sure they don't get too wet.
Exactly. This is a conspiracy.
Here are some more of the wildest what-if theories. What if we can't breathe in space because they don't want us to escape? Who the fuck is they? And escape where? Where the fuck am I going? Pretty sure we can't breathe up there because there's no oxygen. Simple science. What if everything behind you disappears, but when you turn back around, it reappears? I'm gonna be honest, I've always thought about this, but then I always think about mirrors. A mirror is literally showing me what is behind me. Unless that's what the mirror wants me to think. Lastly, what if, when we die, the light at the end of the tunnel is the light to another hospital room? There we are born, and the only reason you come out crying is because you remember everything from your past life, and you're crying at the fact that you died and lost everything. I'm sorry, excuse me? That sounds completely accurate. I quite literally feel like that's what happens. Here are some more of the wildest what-if theories.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory that Australia's fake? Dude. The biggest piece of evidence there is, have you ever seen an Australian child? Have you heard the conspiracy theory that
This happened in Manchester, England in 2022, actually, bro. It's about this girl and her boyfriend. Her name was Shay Groves. It was this guy named Frankie, and I don't really know how to pronounce his last name. But long story short, bro, they were dating for like a cool minute. You know, they really hit it off. The relationship seemed really cool in the beginning. Eventually, she ends up going on his phone this one day because he falls asleep. She checks his phone. And you already know where this is going, bro.
Yeah.
But it's not what you expect.
He was cheating on her?
She sees that he's texting another girl. She starts looking at the messages and actually reading them. And she finds out that her boyfriend Frankie was texting a 13-year-old girl.
Wow.
After she sees the messages between him and the 13-year-old girl, she goes to the kitchen, grabs a knife, and stabs 22 times in the chest and his neck. She kills Brett inside the house. She calls her homegirl right after the fact and FaceTimes her.
Tells her.
And shows her the body. She's like, yes, like, bro, she's laughing and shit. She's like, yeah, like, I just killed Frankie. So she's like, let me call you back.
Call the police.
Calls the police on her ass. Police go to her house, end up bringing her in. And while they have her in, they're checking through her house, bro. She had pictures of serial killers in her bedroom. Like, she had pictures of Jeffrey Dahmer. Posters of Jeffrey Dahmer, the Night Stalker, fucking John Wayne Gacy.
Holy fuck.
And shit like that. Yes, bro. She was out of her mind. This happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was definitely a toxic relationship. Like, they both were toxic in their own ways, though. Like, he's a fucking weirdo, and she's definitely a fucking weirdo. There's some crazy people in this world, man.
What conspiracy theories are too logical to be ignored? Part 16.
Miley Cyrus's crazy streak was all a carefully planned marketing scheme to get her solidified as an A-list celebrity. I also believe it was done to make Disney completely cut ties with her and kill the image of Hannah Montana. It worked too. Hannah Montana was quite possibly Disney's largest TV show ever, but I haven't seen anyone even mention it for over 4 years now, and despite Disney cashing in on old IPs, Aladdin, Kim Possible, Lion King etc., we have yet to even hear an unsubstantiated rumor regarding Hannah Montana.
Hey guys, just came back from dance class. Michael, what are you doing in my room? Why'd you lock the door? Oh, hey guys, just came back from dance class.
Yeah, that was fire. That was good. This card was a part of That's crazy.
The World's Most Dangerous Conspiracy Theories, Season 2. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say that once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking a couple from each category until we reach Tier 10, the point of no return. Alright, Season 2, welcome to Tier 1. Today we're going to be talking about Ouija boards. A Ouija board is a board printed with numbers, letters, and symbols in hopes of communicating with the dead. The history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as the game itself. A woman named Helen Peters claimed to be a very strong psychic and actually invented the board herself. Eventually, Helen Peters' brother-in-law named Elijah wanted to get these things patented so that he could sell these everywhere. Helen Peters and Elijah traveled everywhere trying to get this patent, but the offices said they couldn't release a patent unless they had proof of it working. But consequently, nobody in these offices wanted to even get close to the board for unknown reasons. Until one day they traveled to Washington, D.C., and the chief of patent walked in the room and said, "You don't know me and I don't know you." Then he said, "If this board can tell me my name, I will sign the patent for you right now." The board apparently spelled the man's name. He walked out of the office office, looked at Helen Peters and said, "You got your patent." Years later, Helen Peters and Elijah had a falling out, and Helen said she no longer wanted anything to do with this board. Elijah, on the other hand, continued selling these boards until one day he fell off of a 3-story building. He actually survived the fall, and some bystanders saw his body laying in the road. They picked him up, put him in the car, and they hit a bump in the road, and his broken rib pierced through his heart. After that, the family sold the rights to the board, and all the way up until Helen Peters' death, her last words is, "Do not play the Ouija board, it lies." And now you can buy a Ouija board from any store, and they're marketed to children. So the question remains, are these boards just a hoax, or was Helen Peters trying to warn us of something much darker? Make sure to like and follow for tier 2.
Let's research. You guys know I like to research, right? All right, let's check it out. Helen Peters. Helen Peters, writer. Okay, no, it's not enough. Peters. How do you spell Ouija? Ouija. Ouija. How do you spell Ouija board? Helen Peters, not the media behind Ouija. Why do you spell Ouija like that? Ouija. Spirit books. Is she real though? Helen Peters, Stone, out of the shadow of the oh wow, that's a real person. It's kind of creepy. What the heck? That's crazy.
Have you heard of the family?
Things people do for money, man.
Celebrity. Have you heard of the Family Guy theory? The theory suggests that Peter is in a mental institution due to the death of his entire family, and that the events of the show all take place within his head. One night Meg was driving the family home while drunk when she got into a wreck that killed everyone except Peter. This is why for the entire show he hates Meg. Peter held resentment towards her and blamed her for his family's death. Stewie is so smart because he represents Peter's hopes and dreams he had for him. When Peter hangs out with Joe Cleveland and Quagmire, it's really just them visiting him in an asylum. Have you heard of the Family Guy theory? Celebrities glitching. Part 1. Reptilian. That's really creepy.
Make even more noise from my band.
No, something else is here. But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain.
He is literally frozen.
Yeah, I was a little down. I found out I was injured and I had surgery again, or with another knee. But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys.
Just watch.
That's exactly how
you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies.
Exactly.
You're high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll, and his
Creepy Conspiracy Theories Part 2. Sophia, the first robot citizen in the world, once said that she would destroy humans. During a live demonstration, Sophia's creator asked her, "Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no." And with a blank expression, Sophia responded, "Okay, I will destroy humans." First of all, whoever created her should be in jail after hearing that. And second, throw the whole robot away. Get rid of it. I guess the theory here is that robots might try and take over the world. 14 years before the Titanic sank, a man named Morgan Robertson wrote a novel about a ship named Titan. This ship also sank in the North Atlantic Ocean in the same month as the Titanic. The ship in the story also struck an iceberg located at the same distance from Newfoundland. Did this author predict the sinking of the Titanic? There is no way that's just a coincidence. And lastly, this is more of a fact than a theory. The world's scariest haunted house is so scary that all guests are required to have a mental and physical evaluation before they can enter. No one has ever completed the haunted house and today has a waiting list of over 24,000 people. I've heard about this and even read parts of the waiver. There is a literal part in this haunted house where a dentist comes in and can rip your teeth out. Who the hell is signing up for this?
I want to sign up. I want to sign up. You have to have a physical? Wait, I didn't even type anything. You have to have a physical? What? They must sign a liability waiver? Look at this, guys. Let me show you guys. What? The McCamey Manor is considered a pioneer of extreme haunted attraction. It was founded in San Diego by Russ McCamey. It was originally located on his property. The house operates year-round, offering visitors a tour that can last up to 8 hours. Guests must sign a liability waiver to participate. What? I want to go. I want to go now. Pretty cool. But yeah, guys, that was the video. But yeah, guys, that was the video. Thank you for tuning in. It's your boy Clutch Peso. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Jersey.
Tried to check me, it's a warning. Picked up the dope.